have just a small little problem. Can I have just a cello and bass, please? After one, just cellos and bass. 1, 2, and. That's the problem. So now, if what we can do, can everybody give me a slight rest between bom, bom, bom. Yeah. Even it's slightly less than that. Slightly less of that rest. This was now really exaggerated. If a little bit lost. Just a bit less. One more time.
When I had the opportunity to begin this program, it was very easy because the program was actually alive in my head for years. So it was just a question of picking up the telephone and putting it together. And I did it in a period of less than 6 months, really. The dream has gotten, the reality of the dream is probably better than the dream itself because I keep correcting, refining, making little changes, and the culmination of the dream, of course, is to come here.
Give me the first violins and then cellos. First violin, cellos, and basses, all right? That's fine, but we all forgot about that intense vibrato. There is a few things that are escaping. I don't want. Please don't let anything escape. One more time. 2 and 1, 2. Okay.
The program here in Israel is half Israeli and half children from our program. Some of them here are not from America. They're from all over, Asia and Europe.
China and Russia?
Korea.
And the country of California.
Who is Austria?
I'm not speaking so well English.
Israel.
Israel? Who is Japanese? Japan?
Everybody, please, at 1, tutti. 1, 2, and. Number 4, miracle.
When I was a student at the Juilliard School, and I suffered as a student. I always cried in orchestra. I always felt bad. I felt terrible all the time. And mostly I felt terrible because the teachers were a bunch of bullies whose object in life seemed to be to make the student feel as small and terrible as possible. And so I think the dream started there when I was a student at Juilliard, and then when I had children of my own and I was searching out programs, I found good programs, but I always had the feeling, if I was running this program, I'd change this, I'd do that, I did.
This is going to be a little bit of a game. I've assigned 4 moods, if you will, or characters that I want them to play the piece. Now, each one of these students are going to play, and then we're going to have a vote among the students as to what they think the character was. Now, if the student happens to have a lot of votes for what the student tried to do, they get a lollipop. If not, they get kicked out and sent back to America. No, I'm just kidding. 1, intense. 2, calm. 3, elegant. 4, lyrical.
I think about 3 or 4.
3 or 4, so elegant or lyrical. 1. Jonah. 3, elegant. 2, calm. Okay. It was going for 1, intense. From the way he played, as far as the vibrato usage, and let's say also the bow usage, what would you add to make it more like a 1? More bow speed? Or what about the left hand? What about the vibrato?
Like in right hand he did intense, but in left hand it was pretty calm. So maybe
The left hand was not, but why was it calm? Was it calm because of, what was, how did you use the vibrato then?
You should play the vibrato faster.
A faster vibrato, yeah. You mean more quick bow changes? Yeah.
Maybe a longer vibrato, like longer lasting, to get a feel for the kind of vibrato because it was kind of short.
Oh, I see. So you started and then you sort of let go. And what he wants you to sustain the vibrato more, and that's where it gives you more of the intensity. So you want to try it again? I know, but let's try it. Make sure that the vibrato is a little faster. That's one thing. Second thing is make sure that the vibrato goes throughout the note. As I said to you, this is not necessarily the way to play this piece. It's just the character, of the piece. I'm not saying that's the way the piece should be played. It's just, all right, so try and give me a little bit more one and see what happens. Okay, all right, what do you think? You see, for me already, I think that there is, tell me about the bow. What do you think about the bow? Enough bow speed or not? No. Not enough bow speed. So I think you need to make the faster strokes. See what happens. That's better. All right, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Now, we talked also about speed of the bow change. What if we put this into the recipe and see what happens? All right, can you try that? That's excellent. That's excellent. Now, put one more ingredient in the recipe, and that is vibrato, fast vibrato, all the way through the stroke. Let's see what happens. More bow speed. Go, go, go. More beat. Okay, good. You think that's more? That's more like what we're talking about? Good. Thank you very much. I think vibrato is one of the most important elements in making music, in making colors. And it's a difference sometimes between a performer that, quote, boring, and a performer that's interesting. But I always say, vibrato is something that I don't want to talk about when I listen to somebody play. Because the minute you listen to them play and you say, gee, they have this funny vibrato, that means something is wrong. Vibrato is at the service of the music. What do you think is the difference between elegant and lyrical in the use of vibrato? Does elegant have more vibrato or less vibrato? Less. That's true. It's a little cooler, a little cooler. So it's not everything is warm. Yeah? Any suggestions? How to make this more elegant? Less bow speed. So we have more bow speed, we have less bow speed. Tom, what do you think?
I don't know. I think I just need a tie.
You just need a what?
A tie.
A tie?
And a jacket.
A tie and a jacket to make it more elegant.
Nice work.
All right. So let's try a bit less, less lyrical vibrato, maybe a little bit more bow speed. Let's try a couple of bars. Okay, you see, for me, that's pretty lyrical.
Okay.
No, it's pretty lyrical. But what would happen if it was a little? All right, let's add to the word elegant. Let's add cool. For me, that's beginning to get elegant. Okay, good. Okay. Now, didn't you think that was a bit more like that? Now, what you did was, you know, there were some notes you didn't vibrate at all. You notice that? There were ta-ri-ro-ro. No, you didn't go ta-ri-ro-ro. Some notes were just not vibrated. So the whole atmosphere was totally different. It wasn't very, almost uninvolved. You know, it was a bit more laid back. And it's because, you know, not everything was vibrated. Now, I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying that's a fact. That's what he did. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the bow with elegant as well as lyrical now. In the lyrical thing, would you think that, which is more sostenuto, lyrical or elegant? Lyrical. Okay, that's very good. You know, the bow, you know, you dig really in, you know, you just want to come and sing. Everything has to be sung and has to be espressivo and so on. With elegant, it can be a bit more removed. So the bow speed can be a little faster, not quite to dig in. When you play here, you know, you wouldn't just. I wouldn't say that you would call that elegant, would you? You know, you go. But if you go. That's more like intense but lyrical. Intense for me is that for me is intense. I'm going and the thing is that for me intense basically I would say that's very rare that I like prolonged intensity. Maybe in a few notes here and there, but prolonged intensity I wouldn't like so much. You know, you want to save your intensity for when you really need it.
I don't think that a lot of teachers concentrate that much on the musical benefits of vibrato. They always concentrate on, you know, it has to be nice and there's a certain way of vibrato in a certain piece, but nobody ever looked at it like giving a characteristic to a piece.
So it gives us many different dimensions of the music that when we start doing a piece of music after this masterclass, we'll try many different ways to do it and see what we like the best. I think that might lead us to a better understanding of music and choose your own way to play it.
Now, lots of bass. And now give me. Now, everything.
I really didn't envision this program with him as a part of it. It just, when I was making it into a reality 7 years ago, I just thought, oh, we have to have an orchestra, you know, it'd be nice to have an orchestra. And I thought, we need a conductor. Well, okay, he can conduct.
She didn't say conductor, she said coach. So then I said, what is coaching? You know, coaching is, you can't just say, well, let's see how he played. You know, you have to actually conduct. And what happened was that I got encouraged by my wife. And then, of course...
You studied conducting at Juilliard.
But I always stayed away from it. I always said, you know, I don't want to do it. You know, I don't want to do it. You know, but that started. But then what happened was that the first orchestra that I took a chance just to see how is the Israel Philharmonic. Because I felt that, if I was going to fall on my face, I would rather do it with mishpocha. I'd rather do it with family. So instead of really staying. Now,
It's terrific. Because you see, when he conducts them, he's of course turned into a real conductor now. But when he conducts them, it's almost an extension of the lesson in some way. That he talks about vibrato and bow speed and all of the things, the sound, where it comes from, where it's going, the quality, all of these things that they learn from him in the lesson. So it's repeating, reinforcing, and all of us need to be told again and again and again about everything in life.
Remember when we talked about trying to play, really sort of calmly and don't use so much bow, because if you use too much bow, I think it was Jonah at the end that you were afraid to use a lot of bow because you would get the bow speed and then you get the thing. Right, that's what you want to do here. It's pianissimo, so don't use so much bow. Sing it, but don't use so much bow. That way we can get a real pianissimo. All right, can we just try that? Give me the sustain the cello. Wow. Same thing in violas. But remember what we said, that pianissimo does not necessarily mean a relaxation in the left hand. I want to continue the vibrato, especially in the do, the C. Da. I always hear da, da, da. I always hear it empty. Right, again, right from there. As far as the conducting is concerned, I think that a very important part of conducting is also teaching. Because even though you may be working, when I work with kids, of course, it's all teaching. And of course, an element of teaching is involved in your own playing, because you self-teach. You teach yourself, and a lot of things that are involved in both teaching and conducting have to do with listening. And as a result, when I play the violin, for me, it's such a great help to have that extra different level of listening, and that really, really helps one thing. It helps the playing, and playing helps the teaching and the conducting. So everything is all connected. Yeah. All you can do is teach them what musically things, what not to do. Teach them, like my friend said, teach them not so much what to do, but not what not to do. What to do comes later. That's number one. And number two is to give them a good technical base. Because, for people saying, we don't care about the technique, the most important thing is the music. Well, music is an important thing, but you have to be able to perform it. So you need both. I definitely feel there were two characters there. But what was she going for? Let's say if you had...
I think she started 3, went to 4, and finished 1.
Yeah. Started to 3, which is elegant, went to 4, and finished 1.
3, 4, 1.
3, 4, 1. You see, that was the problem with the piece. You know, the piece is a different way, you know, and she was going with the piece. And what I ask you to do is to go with your brain at a certain way without thinking of the music, and you were having a problem with that. Is there any way that you could do that again and go for the same character as you started? So let's talk about elegant and cool. What about slow bow, fast bow?
Fast.
I think so. Now, vibrato. A lot of vibrato? Little less vibrato. Okay. All right, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get some elegance in there. I think the beginning was good. Now I think, isn't she going more for lyrical, right? Why? What is she doing with the vibrato? Yeah, all of a sudden it's, you know, vibrato is fast. Then the bow speed has started to slow down. Dee-da, dee-da, dee-da. Huh? Dee-da, dee-da. Right, again. That's more like it. But more bow, don't be afraid. Don't rush. Now watch it. The music is going, but you don't. Okay, that's good. Now the only problem is this: that you've got a full bow. So if you get more bow, can I have more bow? Because right now you're basically playing in the middle third of the bow. So if you can give me maybe 2-3 more inches on every stroke, then it'll be a fuller bow, right? And don't rush, don't rush. All right. I need time to hear it. So if you want to sing, you know, if you want to sing to the audience, you got to sing. You can't rush. Otherwise, we won't hear anything, right? Yeah, you're beginning very good. You started very, very good, and then for some reason you say, I want to get rid of this. Let's get it over with. Can you really just kind of show off? You know, you want to really sing. So that means the vibrato, the fuller bow, and no rushing, you know, because you're busy singing, right? That's nice. Continue. Don't rush. Fuller bow. And get more pressure. Now sing it. Even more bow. Please sing it. Now, more opportunity to sing. Don't rush, dee-dee-da. Slower, slower. Yeah, you see that last note? That's what I call lyrical. So, if you want to keep doing something lyrical, make sure that it doesn't run away from you. You know, lyricism, you know, I have to. Otherwise, lyricism is going to be right in here. I want it out there. Okay? Thank you. Vibrato should be something that is there. it should be like when you compare to food. For example, let's say that you have a dish of something, I don't know, soup or meat or eggs or whatever it is. You never says, these eggs are perfectly salted. The salt is just perfect in this. You don't say that. You just say, these eggs are delicious, or this food is delicious. You don't say, oh, it has just the right amount of salt and pepper. You don't say that. That's what vibrato is. You don't say, this violinist had the most wonderful vibrato. No, you say, this violin had the most beautiful sound, or played beautifully, or played musically, and so on. You don't say, what is the element inside, you know. You don't say, they had a great bow speed or this. You don't say that. But that's part of the things. Yeah, that's good, but I need more calories. Can you give me more calories? Yeah, more chocolate, please. Okay. White chocolate, I want white chocolate. One more time, same place. That was nice. That was fat. That was nice. I like that. Now with everybody...
He likes to give metaphors for everything, like food.
Yogurt, ice cream, butter.
Yeah, less butter, more yogurt, or...
Lebenia.
It sort of brings everything down to the level where you can understand everything. And there's no way of not understanding anything. It's hard to not play better after something like that. Everybody laughs in the orchestra, and then, I mean, it's impossible just to play the same way you did right the second before, after all that just happened. I mean...
Now, can vibrato come from here? Is your vibrato coming from here or coming from here? From there, good. So, wow, 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 wow. Can you make an exaggeration of a very, 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 very old man playing a violin? He's very old, and he can't vibrate very fast. He also had 2 vodkas. And everything is going very slowly. Huh? Can you do that? But he can press the bow down. No. He's only 50 years old. He has to be 90 years old. 90 years old. Whoa! All come from here, very slowly. He's getting older. Yeah. Now give me. Sostenuto. Yeah, it's a very old man. He's starting to play slower too. And then he's sliding too. Very good. Okay, very good. All right. You know, that kind of a thing, all right?
The philosophy that I believe in, that the student is always right. And I think that this is the basic premise on which our program sits. If the student, assuming the student has practiced, done the work, and he can't get it, he worked and he worked and he worked and he can't get it, whose fault is it? It's the teacher's fault. The teacher did something wrong, didn't say the right thing, or said too much, or whatever it is. It's never the fault of the child. And that's the basic premise on which we operate. And that premise eliminates fear in the child. The child might be nervous when he comes to the lesson with Mr. Purlman. Maybe the child is shaking. But it only takes about 30 seconds to dispel that, because the child knows that nothing terrible in the lesson is going to happen. He's not going to get yelled at. He is never going to be made to feel small or stupid or incompetent.
All right, stop. Well, he was going for 5. No. He was going for 1. Intense. Very, very good. Very good. That's basically what teaching is all about, is support, nurturing, and then guiding. That's so important. And sometimes you see a lot of teachers who believe that when you get hit across the head with a hammer, it's, quote, good for you. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. It, as Toby said, scars you for life. First of all, let's talk about the vibrato. What did he do? He didn't miss one note with the vibrato. Everything was covered with vibrato.
And the way he would like end phrases and begin phrases, it was like a Tchaikovsky concerto.
Yeah, in other words, he wouldn't let go. He was rather intense. Yes. Bow pressure. Used a lot of bow pressure. Anyway, thank you very much. Well done. Well done. You can always give a positive description to something that you don't want them to play. It's very simple, you know? So if you can do that, they'll feel, oh, gee, I did it pretty good, you know, and I'm going to try for the next thing to do. Together. Same tempo.
You know, he's a big star. He doesn't need to teach. You know, the world is his. He doesn't need his students to make him a success. So everything becomes in the service of the student. It's not about his ego or what he needs, or he needs them to win a competition, or he needs them to be famous. He just needs them to do the best they can. And he's, after all, a role model for them of how to be a mensch.
To me, it was like, I looked at him like God or something, you know? You could just imagine yourself. It's like we ate dinner together, we ate lunch. He just a regular guy just talking about his, it's like playing poker with God, or, you know, like, you know, he was like one of the greats, and now he's just a regular person with regular needs and regular, you know, he has problems, and I mean, not that I know any of them, but.
Now I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think you vibrated on every note?
No.
Good, good. No, can you vibrate on every note? No. All right. I already know the second one. Yeah, all right. Okay, now that brings me to a little statement that I'd like to make about vibrato, as though we haven't talked about it yet. And that is that a lot of us have a tendency sometimes to not vibrate on a note, not because of musical reasons, but because of comfort, because it's not comfortable. If you would say to me, I didn't want to vibrate it because I feel that harmonically it should stick out. Then I would say, okay, I don't agree with you, but at least you have a good reason. But sometimes what we do is we don't vibrate a note simply because it's not comfortable, because it's on the way to another note, and then we leave it like that. So now, in order to avoid to do this, you know, we have to be able to listen to what it really sounds like, not just to play with a physical sensation, because a lot of us do, because we are so involved. And that's why one of the most important things in performance is how you can judge how you played. And usually it's never 100%. And the reason it's not 100%, it's because we really can't, because we are so involved with the instrument that we are always affected by how it feels, not by how it sounds. And that's why sometimes you tell me how many times that you played concert or a performance and you thought that you played really lousy, and then you heard a tape and it wasn't so bad. I'm sure it happened to a lot of you. And also it happened when you say, I really played really terrific, and then you listen to the tape and it's not so good. And that, I think, has to do with how you perceive yourself, the way you're feeling. Maybe that night, that evening, you didn't feel so good. Maybe your adrenaline is less, and then you actually play nicer, play calmer. You don't have all of that nervous energy, and everything is more calm. Or the other way around, you say, oh, I'm really, fantastic, like this. Then you play the fast bow, and all of a sudden there's scratches and this and that, and you don't realize because you feel so good. Then you listen to the tape and say, oh, what was that? Where was I? What was I doing? And sometimes you say, oh, I played this passage really, really very well. But then, because you felt that you played every note very well, you don't listen that sometimes maybe those notes were a little bit out of tune. But you didn't care about that because you hit every note, because you were having a problem hitting them when you practiced, and you practiced very hard, and maybe you practiced wrong, maybe you practiced to hit the notes, but not exactly for the intonation and so on. So many things can happen because you are actually playing the instrument. So try it again and see if you can, even if it's not comfortable, and it may not sound good, but try and see if you can vibrate on every note just to get that feel of the intensity and see what happens. I already heard the third note. I heard you. I'll let you do that. Everything. Don't be musical. Every note. Everything. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't think that was so bad. I thought it was pretty good with the intensity of all the vibrato. I really did. It was not overly done. Did you think it was overly done?
No.
I didn't think it was overly done. Which brings me another thing about it, is whenever you think that you're exaggerating something, you probably are not. You only feel that, but you probably are not. And it's interesting about the development of young kids that sometimes it clicks at a certain age, and you think they'll never happen, and then you get to be a certain age, and one day you wake up and it clicks. But right. Sometimes it does, you know, and all of a sudden your perspective is so different. All of a sudden, it's like somebody took the cotton out of your ears and you hear differently. It happens, but at different points. It was almost good. Don't anticipate. Wait for my sign. If I'm too late, then you come too late. I give you one for nothing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, now I'll give you some other sign. When I go like this, you come in, all right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, another sign. Watch my eyes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Gotta watch my eyes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Whenever I do it, you come in, not before. Again. 1, 2, 3, 1. Now let's do it now normally.
This music shows like there's no difference in when you play if you're Japanese or Chinese or Israeli, and like everybody are same and make the same music. So it's a very interesting thing.
At first we felt very uncomfortable, I guess, because we really didn't know each other and they were speaking different language and we're just like kind of feeling apart. But we introduced each other and we became close and we did chamber music and orchestra, and I think that led us more closer.
We host the children for
The children, sorry, we host our guests in Friday night. We just take them on Friday and we bring them back on Saturday. That's about it.
We are a family. You know, there is a bonding between the kids. And what gives both Toby and I such great pleasure is to see, it was even last year when they came here to Israel, where they were being put opposite kids who the only thing in common for them was music. But sometimes the language was not even something. And yet at the end of the program here, they were sending each other email. And of course, this time, those that were here last year with it was just like a homecoming to see their Israeli friends and so on. That is not just musically important, but personally and socially so important. I feel that this program is also another important aspect of what this program is about.
I would write to Mrs. Perlman about things that happen, like in my things would happen in the musical life, and I would email her. If I had a problem, I could email her, and she would always email me back. I emailed to Mr. Perlman, but
But
there
then you never
didn't
get
get
it.
really anything back. So.
What's the
I don't know what his excuse is.
120. And. Look, you know the tempo. You gotta trust. You gotta trust it. Don't, just be like robots. Don't move. Don't move. All right. Let's do it one more time from 135. Good. I bet you some of you are rushing. You have to trust the tempo. Don't try to do it. Oh, you look at so many notes. I better try and keep up. You will keep up. You can keep up. There's no problem. There's no problem. Believe me, there's no problem. 132 again. 1, 2, and. Excellent. Just relax. Just be right within yourself and keep that tempo. Again. 1, 2, and. Goodbye. Go home.